Hi guys, my name's Hunter and welcome to my beginner's guide on how to play War Thunder. Now first off, this game comes with a lot of confusion since it doesn't have a very good starter guide, but I'm here to clear that up for you. Hopefully we can get it done. Now whenever you start the game, you start out with the Tier 1 planes. You have the option of playing America, Germany, Russia, Britain, and Japan. Personally, I like playing Germany because they have more powerful guns on their planes. So whenever you start out with Germany, you have unlocked the HE-51 and the HE-112 it should be. Whenever you use these two for the first time, what you do is you go into a match and you get the most points possible. Now we'll go over that in a little bit. And once you get those points, you go into the research panel where you research parts. And we'll go into that later on also. But the main thing that you find on this research screen is the ability to research for new planes down the tiers. So what you see here is the first tier, second, third, fourth, and fifth tier, and the fifth tier are all jets. What do the tiers mean? Well, the tiers are ways of distinguishing the different abilities of each plane. So whenever you go into a match and you have a tier 1 plane, you're not going to be paired against people that have jets, which is a great thing. But it is worth noting that if you have 3 tier 1 planes and then 1 tier 2 plane, you're going to be set into a tier 2 battle. Right now on my screen we see that I'm starting to research into the 3rd tier. Right now I've been able to put in 26,000 research points out of 36,000. That way I'll be able to have the plane the FW-109A5. Right now my favorite plane is the FW-109A4. It's absolutely wonderful because it has a massive amount of cannons, but we'll go over that later. Before you fly a plane, it is important to know what weapons are equipped on the plane itself. So if we go to the research tab that shows all the planes, right now you see I'm in Germany. And let's just look at this very first plane. At the very bottom of this tooltip it says that there are 7.92mm machine guns and that there are 2 of them. It's worth noting that there is 1,000 rounds that go with it before you have to reload for a 15-second reload. Now let's go ahead and look at my favorite plane so far. And go ahead and look down at the bottom of that tooltip. It says that I have 2 large 20mm cannons, and there's 2 large other 20mm cannons that have a FF/M, and I have 180 of those with a reload time of 40 seconds, and the other cannons I have 500 of those with a reload time of 40 seconds. I also have 2 more 7.92 machine guns, and that's going to be my basic weapon, and the 2 cannons that are listed on top are going to be my heavy weapons. If we look over to this plane, the BF-109 F1, we can see that it also has 2 machine guns, 1 cannon, and 4 bombs. Crew points are points that can be spent to increase the stats of the crew that flies the plane that you are flying. Now all you have to do is mouse over the plane that you want to affect and click on crew. Now you have 4 tabs up here. The first one is pilot, gunners, ground service, and qualification, which is not anything that we're going to be dealing with. Now on the pilot, this is whenever you are a gunner and, for instance, a bomber. So this means that it's not going to affect us. This only affects a pilot whenever you are not flying. This is where you see the gunners, and remember, this is not actually going to affect us at all because we do not have gunners on this plane. What will help us though is ground service. Now currently I have 744 experience points available from doing arcade missions. One thing that I would really like to increase is my reload speed and my repair speed, because whenever you have increased repair speed, whenever you land on a landing strip to get that initial repair, which we'll go over later on in the video, you're a sitting duck for about 30 seconds, which is absolutely horrible. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and add points, and you want to take note of the fact that it only costs 1 experience point here, so take note. I'm going to increase the level, and as you notice, as you increase it, the cost goes up massively. I'm going to go ahead and increase it to 20, and that's good enough for me right now. Next, I'm going to increase my reload speed, so I'll go ahead and increase that to 20. Initially it takes 40 seconds or 45 seconds for me to reload my cannons, which are my main weapons, and I really want to have faster reload speed, so I go ahead and increase that. Now that I've done that, I only have 80 experience points left. So I probably want to put that somewhere else. We see here in weapon maintenance, what it says is it reduces the overheating speed of the primary weapons, which is really good. So I'm going to go ahead and put the remainder of my points here. You'll see later on in the video what we mean by overheating when you're using your weapons. I'm going to go ahead and put apply, and now I have a totally new and upgraded crew. Here we have my favorite plane, the FW-109A4, fully upgraded. Let's go ahead and look at the 3 different types of upgrades: weaponry, survivability, and flight performance. They speak for themselves. The most important to me is the weaponry, because this is how you're going to be getting your research points in the first place. So I always like to upgrade my weaponry first. As you can see, whenever you get the new weaponry, whenever you upgrade it, you get a whole new set of machine guns, which is really good. Machine gun belts, I should say. Then, the next thing you can get is new machine guns, which basically just make your machine guns that you have better. It doesn't actually give you new ones. It does the same thing for my 20mm, which is my cannons. And then, it allows me to have new cannons. Now remember from before how I said this plane has 2 cannons available for it, or 2 types of cannons, making 4 total. Here are the one set of the 2, and here's the other set of the 2, the upgraded versions of them. Now we move over to survivability. The first thing you can get is the airframe, which is a very good upgrade to get. It gives me 10% more armor, which is very nice. It reduces the weight of my plane, which of course will make me maneuver better. It gives me more climb rate due to that reduction of mass, and it reduces my turn time, which is very necessary for dogfights. Next thing is cover. Essentially just does the same thing and reduces my different fuselage coefficients, and look at how little that number is, but it's important to note that a coefficient is actually just a negative 1 over, so that number is actually really effective in the long run. Now here on the flight performance, all of these pretty much do the exact same thing. Just know that they make your plane faster. That's pretty much it. Now some of them do increase your rate of climb, which is very important. The engine injection does it the most. But that's it for these. Now we take a look up here, we see the different types of rounds we can use. For the for the cannons here, you don't really get any options, which I wouldn't expect any, but Whenever you're using a chain gun like this 7.92mm gun, you have the option of default, universal, tracers, or stealth rounds. All of these are highly viable in their own situations, but personally I like to use universal since it has the perks of each. The stealth rounds, it's important to note that they will not have any tracers in them, making it hard to see where your bullets are flying. Now for these 20mm ones that I have, I usually like to go with air targets since this is more geared towards taking out other planes, which is what you're going to be doing during the majority of the game. Again here, air targets. Now without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into a game. Right now I'm going to be doing an air arcade battle. In air arcades, there are no sides, so it's not America versus Germany or vice versa. It's Team 1 versus Team 2, and they can use whatever planes they want to as long as it's in the same tier. Now note, I'm going to be going in with tier 2 planes, so I will be playing against other tier 2 planes. Here is the screen that you're going to be presented with whenever you start a match. It shows from left to right all the planes that you currently have available. Whenever you click on a plane, it gives you the options of what types of rounds you want to use. Now here I chose omni-purpose, which is the universal, and I choose air targets. These other ones are not going to be as important because you're not going to be encountering armored targets as much whenever you're trying to use a fighter. Now, these other options here are not necessary. You don't need to look at these. So let's go ahead and spawn in. Whenever I spawn in, I like to hit the WEP and go straight up. Having altitude on your opponents is important. As you're going up, you want to watch your speed. Right now I'm going 300 kilometers per hour and dropping. At some point I'm going to reach critical speed, which is going to make me push my nose down. Due to gravity, you're not going to be able to climb much higher and your engine won't be able to handle it. Now I'm currently about 3,500 meters up, and it's okay, I'm go ahead and go back down, or not go down, level out. Whenever you're going to engage a target, you want to look and see where they're going. I'm going to zoom in and see this guy's not paying attention to me, so I'm going to go ahead and go for my swoop. Again, having altitude on your opponent is going to be very necessary. I'm going to keep my eye on him though, and see just where he's going. Right now I'm going to press the C key. Sorry for you on console, I don't know which one that y'all need to press. But I'm going to go ahead and look around in my surroundings and see if there's a more opportune target. This one just got away from me. He's too high up. Well, actually I might be able to get him. Might be worth saving my teammate. Oh, no more saving my teammate, but it's okay. As you can see here, I'm not exactly firing where the marker is, because that tells lies on a daily basis. Now this guy has a much faster plane than me and he's making it away. I guess I won't be able to engage him for much longer. Now I'm using C to look around. I see where my teammates are. So the next thing I want to do is find a target. This guy is very unattainable. I really should just start ignoring him. Let's go after this one over here maybe? I see that he's 2 kilometers out and I realize that it's going to take a little bit for me to catch up to him. Whenever I engage the target, I want to use the middle mouse button to target him, and then zoom in to see where he's flying. I see he's flying away from me, which means that it will take a while for me to catch up to him. We go ahead and pan around, let's see what's going on. Guy directly under me, the guy over there in his own little dogfight. I don't think he really needs help. target I was initially engaging has changed trajectory, so I'm going to change with him. Now you see I'm closing in, and he's not really flying very sporadically. Now he's turning around. Before he tries to close this gap here, I need to take him out. Uh-oh, somebody's on me. Time to start slowing down. I want to match his pattern of flight. So they just took me out. There we go. He's out. Now it's time to look for a new target. Now you see that I've actually lost about 400 meters of altitude since I've engaged my targets. A lot of the times you're not going to find targets this high in the sky. Let's look around more. Let's find somebody else to shoot at. Okay, right now I'm at about 3,500 feet, and I notice that there's not many other people up here. So I'm going to go ahead and change to this other people that are down here. I see these enemies. Right now I'm going about 650 kilometers per hour, and gravity is increasing that speed very rapidly. I might actually be able to break the sound barrier here if I'm lucky. That'll be fun. Okay, almost no sound barrier for me, but target's presented himself. Let's make use of it. Now remember, at this speed nobody else is going to be going this fast, so I've got to overtake somebody extremely quickly. Gotta watch my speed. I've turned down my throttle, now I need to turn it back up. This guy's going to throw me into a mountain. And he's out. That was a successful swoop. Need to go ahead and increase my altitude once more. While using C, I'm going to look around at my surroundings, simultaneously looking at the mini-map to make sure that I'm not being threatened by anybody. Right now I have artillery shooting at me, but those are almost ignorable. Remind you, I did say almost. Okay, here what I'm doing is looking across the battlefield and trying to find someone to engage in. Now I find this A6 infantry to shoot at. Decided to take a couple of shots at him to see if I can get a lucky kill, but I couldn't. And I was flying too fast, so I had to continue and take out the guy in front of him instead of trying to kill the guy that I previously engaged. I go ahead and secure the kill here and avoid the collision with him by moving out of the way quickly. Now in this clip, I just thought it was cool because I killed him really quick, so I just added it to the video. All for that. So here is a lesson on not to get too excited. This is actually a mistake that I made. I saw these two aircraft right there next to each other, and I thought to myself, hey, let's blow all my ammo! And you know, it didn't work out very well. In this clip, I decided to add how it's important to understand what's going on and not get tunnel vision. As we loop around here, following this LA-5, I've put in several shots in them, and I'm sitting here wondering to myself, how in the world is this plane not dead? I get really agitated after I put a lot of rounds into them, and I see off to the right that there is tons of enemies coming after me. But instead of disengaging, I get agitated and started getting a little frisky, and I try to kill her. But it doesn't work. What ends up happening is those 5 people to the right of me end up coming and swooping in and basically ruin my day. Let's watch. Okay, I just got done with a match that I was in, and here's the screen that shows up whenever you finish. You can see here that in the last match that I played, I defeated 2 enemies and gained 2,300 lions for that. I had 1 assist and 2 critical hits. The planes that I'm trying to research right now is the FW-109A5. The orange bar shows the amount of progress I've already made, and the yellow bar shows how much progress I made towards researching that plane in the last battle. Here are the planes that I used in the match and gained research points for. However, the research points that I gained with these don't mean anything towards the plane itself, since they are all currently modified completely. Right here it shows that I got 6,700 lions for the last match I was in, and gained 811 research points for modifications of my vehicles, and 990 vehicle research points for this vehicle right here. So here's what the screen looks like whenever you finish a match. Now, you can see here that it says that my BF-109 E1 has 595 research points available. Now, I gain those research points based upon how well I do with that specific plane in game. Now, the last thing I researched was the engine, and it researched completely. So that allows me to purchase an upgrade for my engine, which costs 790 lions. So I'm going to go ahead and purchase that, and now I have an upgraded engine all the time. Now the next thing I'm able to do is research any one of these components. The thing that I want to do first though is increase my speed and turn time. And I think the best thing for that is going to be my engine injection, because I'm going to want more max speed, more climb rate, and by the way guys, 10.2 meters per second the climb rate is massive. So I'm going to go ahead and research that, and as you can see I did not fully research it, but it has a gold bar, meaning that the next whatever research points I get next are going to be added right there, and hopefully it'll be enough to finish it, and then I'll be able to buy it for lions just as I did before. Now I just finished everything that I needed for this plane last match, which was pretty cool. So it's all done now. That's what it looks like when it's all done. Okay, here we're going to go over Marksmanship. Now if you notice in the very middle of the reticle, there is a red line that goes around clockwise. That red line is the overheat bar. So if that red line goes all the way to 12 o'clock, so all the way around clockwise, then your guns will overheat and you'll no longer be able to fire for a given amount of time. Obviously that's bad. I decide to ignore this in this clip and end up completely overheating my gun, and it just stops. That means I have to use my cannon. So as I'm firing my cannon, I'm trying to fire it in the direction that he's traveling so that I can hit him. I take a couple of practice or gauging shots and then finally secure the kill. In this portion of the video, we're going to go over landing. Landing can be extremely tricky. Turning off your throttle before you swoop in to land is ideal. However, in this clip, I show how I started at 300 kilometers per hour, turned off my throttle, and went all the way down and ended up at 450 kilometers per hour due to acceleration of gravity. Now, because of this, I have to come back around. During this little coming back operation, I have to decide, do I need more throttle or no? In this situation, I don't need more throttle to turn around, and that is an ideal situation. So we come back, and we hit the landing strip at under 200 kilometers per hour, which is an ideal situation. You want to make sure that all 3 of your wheels are touching the ground. If they are not, you will not be able to apply the brakes. Once all 3 of the wheels are on the ground, which you can manipulate the screen like this to make all 3 of your wheels hit the ground, you can start applying the brake by pushing backwards on your throttle button. And in this video, I decided to go off to the side because I'd actually tried to do this about 4 or 5 times and kept wrecking because I was being stupid. But here, you can land anywhere you want to, and it'll be alright. Hi, thanks for clicking on the video. I know it was lengthy, but there's a lot that goes into War Thunder. If you liked the video, please give me a like, and please subscribe to show your support. There'll be a lot more videos in the future. If y'all have any more questions, don't be afraid to leave a comment. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.